Hello, beautiful soul. My name is Tara Lightbringer, and this is Tarot Together. Today, I actually wanted to talk about the video that I shot before, where I pulled two Osho cards, and I asked the question after in the video, do you trust the universe? Because the cards that came forward that I'll show you now were Go with the Flow and the Miser. And what was coming through at that time, and I still really feel, is with Go with the Flow, right? That is going with the flow of life, your life path, really allowing the universe, the universe to guide you, right? That you don't have to hold on to or control everything. And that's like what the miser is doing, right? She's holding on and trying to control life. She's fearful. She's afraid that if she doesn't do something or hold on to these things, that she won't have abundance, that she won't be given what she desires. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today more about asking and answering the question, how do I trust the universe, right? Because I don't think that many of us always totally put our faith in that everything's just going to work out fine. Actually, a lot of us, our minds like to go to worst case scenario and fear and go, oh my God, like the worst possible thing's going to happen if I do this. Or you're just trying to always push and figure out how to make something happen. And so I wanted to share with you my own journey in letting go and trusting more in the universal flow. So currently I live in a country where I am not a resident. I do have a long-term visa at the moment. And thanks to COVID from before, I stayed here for quite some time. And I really love it here and I love living here. I felt like I want to have a proper house. So I went on a house hunt for a proper house. And the house I'm in right now actually is a really wonderful house. But I understood that when I moved here, that it was already, and this was in July, that it was already booked for high season because I live on a paradise island and, lots of people like to come here for the winter. So I was envisioning and picturing and creating all this beautiful energy around finding a home that I could really live in long term, that I could sign like a year lease and I wouldn't have to move and all this stuff. So I was creating and manifesting that. And I actually was really envisioning my friend's home because she had a beautiful and ideal space that I really enjoyed very much. Now, there is a neighbor's house next door to her. There's only two houses on the property and they're identical. So when I told her, hey, I'm really manifesting a house like yours, she laughed and said, well, if the neighbors ever move, I'll let you know. So fast forward, I've been living here. I was living here for about a month and I was kind of soft looking for a new place. But hadn't really had anything come up that I really enjoyed or that was looking for more permanent. And she sends me a message one day and just says, hey, are you interested in the neighbor's house because they're moving? And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, universe. That's wonderful. I've barely looked for a place and now look, the universe is providing. So I talked with her landlord, worked everything out, all the details. I knew I was going to move within a few weeks, and everything was great. So I paid her deposit, everything's good, contract, boom, done. 2 days before I move, I receive a message from her saying, I'm so sorry, but the other people that had talked to me before came and they paid me cash up front for like a year, blah, 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 all these details. So anyway, I basically found out 2 days before I had to move that I'm not receiving the place. Now, old me would have been like, what the heck? And I'm sure some of you guys out there are like, whoa, now you got to talk to her, go fight for it, push for it. But I also trusted the universe. I trusted that there was something not right. And you know what it was? Not only did she do that with my house, but she told my friend like within a month that my friend was going to have to move out too because the people had rented both. And so actually I wouldn't have been neighbors with my friend and that would have not been ideal either. And so I said, okay, fine. So I started to look again because of course I need to find a place before the 15th of December. And it's now getting kind of stressful. Every time I go on, it's like there's nothing available, everything's fully booked, and I just felt stressed. So that's what I want to share with you is when you ask, how do I know how to go with the flow and trust the universe? This is how I know. If I start to take action and do things, and it feels like I'm having to push a lot or it's creating a lot of stress or anxiety inside of me, those are the moments where I say, okay, I gotta push pause. So in the middle of November, I was sitting with two friends at a cafe, and one of my friends asked me, because she knew I was a little housing insecure, hey, how's your house hunt going? And I was like, I haven't really looked. I still have about a month. I'm out on the 15th, but I'm sure something will come up. At that same moment, my other friend looks at me and goes, I'm going back to the UK on the 15th of December for 3 weeks, and I need someone to sublet my house. Do you want to stay at my house? Yeah. Where's your house? And I look at it and I realize this is a house that my other friend had looked at and I had actually gone with her to see. So I knew exactly where it was and what it was and everything. So I'm going to move to this house and I'm going to put the feelers out saying, hey, I do need to find something in January. What's going to happen? I'm not going to create a lot of stress around it. I'm not going to just push for it. I'm just going to say, you know what? Something beautiful will show up for me. So by surrendering, right, to actually holding back and saying, you know what, I'm going to let life flow exactly how it's going to go, I know that I will receive much better gifts than if I try to make things happen. So that's my little share. And I hope that this story in some way reaches you today and really helps support you. And also understanding that when life starts to feel really hard and that you're pushing a lot, be like this beautiful swimmer that you see on the card in front of you. They're just going with the flow of life. And life really will happen for you when you go with the flow. So I'm sending you so much love wherever you are in the world today. One love.